Yeah, so I think we're gonna call the campaign here. Like we just killed the Reichspakt, and I don't think it'll be too. We're holding off the Ottomans and the Caucasus over here, which is like a pretty defensible position. They're not really going to be able to break us. We have our oil nice and safe and secure, and for the most part, I think we get a penalty for not controlling the whole state, but we can push those guys back, soon enough. I get a bunch of peace deals over here, and we're still at war with the United States of Greater Austria, and they're going to have some problems here. They're getting hit by the Belgrade Pact and the Internationale. We're on their other side, so I mean they're not going to last that long. Germany hasn't capitulated yet, but they will shortly. We just had the collapse of the Reichspakt event. But more or less, that's the build. You see, it's April 1941, and we've crushed the Germans and collapsed the Reichspakt. So I mean, that's not too bad. I think that's pretty good. So we did piece out a bunch of people. I think we're at around 300,000 casualties, or sorry, around maybe 250,000 casualties. We're definitely under 300. And we've done pretty good for ourselves over here. 2 million Russians we've killed. 1.7 million United States of Greater Austria guys. Like we're almost on. Like that's pretty good for only around 200,000 casualties, or less than that now after the the people that have already conceded and been taken out. If you look at our kill ratio. Not bad at all. Not bad at all of a performance. And so again, like to go over the build. So you start off with your national focus order, and it's really important to get the import foreign specialist focus like as soon as possible. You go for this and you line that up. You line that up with your heavy tanks to come out. So you get the 1943 heavy tank right around 1939, and have like a ton of production efficiency already on your heavy tank too. And logistics. So we are a bit short of guns, but only 56 days. We have like tons of factories on guns. It's not really a big deal. Heavy tanks. We have 2.2 thousand heavy tanks in storage. We are slightly over our division cap now because we had to deploy troops to go and deal with the Ottomans over here in the east. That's also why we're a bit short on guns. So we had to railroad out some units like that. Template. Standard 13-7 heavy tank. We have 7-2 as like our basic line holder infantry division that Russia starts with, which I think is, I don't know. I would probably prefer 10-0, but they give you 7-2, and you don't want to have to build enough guns to replace all the artillery, so you play 7-2. And then we have the 14-4 template. So we have a bunch of those guys in the field too. Kind of stick them in a tough area, and when we have enough tanks, you can convert these guys over to your tank unit. Help your logistics a little bit out there with conversion. So those are kind of like the big points. You rush the tank, and try and stay ahead in your industry, and then you come down over here and you get the extra political power, so you can afford to get your designers, like all this other stuff, and your integration decisions. So I'll maybe post to Reddit or something like that, like a list of the focuses and the research orders that I followed. The other thing we were doing too is we were taking our collaboration government mission with our spies to get quick cores on Central Asia, and we would have been able to do that in the Caucasus too, but unfortunately the Caucasus decided to join the Reichspakt. So that's a bit of a piss off. Then you can't defeat them. You have to wait for the Reichspakt to collapse before you can capitulate them and do your coring event for your integration. Otherwise they're just stuck in occupied state status. So that's a bit disappointing. The Finns this time did not go to war with us, which is nice. We didn't have to have a Scandinavian front. But if you do wind up with that, you can kind of cut that down by holding this over here, like this 2 tiles in front of Petrograd. You can hold here, and you can hold here. So you don't need too many divisions to hold that front. That might be what you want to do, especially if Ukraine doesn't flip and you have to fight all the way across the Don-Kuban Union to the United Baltic Duchy. You have that massive front line. Maybe you want to do that and just concede this area up here. Other thing that we did is we farmed this guy in Central Asia over here to be our main general, and this was looking pretty good. 9 attack already. We've got, I think, we're on track to get 10 attack. We still have We still have one more attack than we have levels, and that's because we have the harsh leader. Harsh leader on this guy for the +1 attack. So real sick general here, and we've got like all the traits that we want. We got adaptable, we got improv expert, we got panzer expert, and we got mountaineer, which came in handy like a few points. Like I mean, over here that was alright to have, I guess. And when you push in, we did start to hit some mountain ranges. We got enough into I think over here, maybe not. Yeah, there's like a little bit that we might need. I guess we don't need right now, but we would have had that available for our tanks to have a mountaineer. The French didn't really do that great into pushing into Germany, like until we were really far into the Reichsback. They didn't do a whole lot of anything. I guess it's kind of reflected in the war score differential. So yeah, that's basically it. Like rush your heavy tanks, make sure you have a bunch of them in the field. Try and get fighter 2 up so you can contest the air. We've got 1,900 planes in the field, and we've got another 700 in stockpile for our fighter 2 for air superiority. And make sure you farm your general in Central Asia. Get those big money traits. Like especially adaptable is great for having to push through all this forest and stuff. But like 30% terrain penalty reduction is really strong, and so is improv expert. Like there are a lot of big rivers you have to get across over here, and we use that trait quite a few times to get us through a tough spot. So that's pretty important to do. And make sure you do your collaboration governments for your quicker cores, like especially over here. There's a lot of manpower in these provinces, so if you're able to get like the quick core before you go to war, that'll give you a lot of extra manpower. And it looks like we didn't need to this time, but if we went to war with the Internationale, we might to go to total mobilization, and we've got like enough army experience now to rush the rest of our doctrines. We'd want to come down over here and grab the extra population, and that will offset your total mobilization recruitable population penalty. We can't even go to total mobilization right now though because our industry is so strong compared to everyone else we're at war with, which is I guess that's like a nice spot to be in, I suppose. Our division limit cap penalty is it's not too bad right now. The organization penalty, you don't want to let that get too high. You won't be able to fight. I mean, reinforce rate also kind of sucks. Factory output's a bit rough, but I mean, our industry's so strong anyways, and training time's not really a huge deal. But I guess if you're significantly over this, you're going to start to feel those penalties. Organization particularly is pretty bad, especially for tanks. You want to keep those attacking, and if the whole point of having mobile warfare to have higher organization is to get a higher armor to motorized ratio to have better stats, and getting organization penalties kind of defeats that purpose. And the other thing, like that's also kind of important to point out, especially in comparison to the medium tanks, is like right now after we've like taken all of our territory, we've taken a few excavation techs, but like the differential between the amount of tungsten and the amount of chromium we have is like pretty massive. For like our production over here, we've got 67 factories on Heavy Tank 3, and we're only having to import, and I think we're importing too much even. Yeah, we only need to import 8 chromium to support this production. Only one factory worth of chromium imported to have 67 factories building tanks. Compared to if we wanted to build medium tanks, to keep our artillery up, we have to spend 15 tungsten already on artillery. It's not like we have like a huge stockpile of artillery that we can afford to cut production. Like we still need to supply our troops with that. And on our trade tab over here, we have only 45 tungsten available right now at our current trade law. Minus 15, that's only 30. That's only 15 factories we could have, right, on medium tanks for we had to trade. 15 factories. So if you wanted to get like the extra, 45 factories, to get to 60, and really we'd have more. It'd be an extra more on that. But like say 45 factories to get yourself 60 factories on tanks, right? You'd have to trade. What is that like 9? I want to say 45 factories. You would need 90 tungsten to get that, which means that would be around 11 factories you'd have to trade. So it's like almost a whole line of factories you'd have to trade away, which would be like, that would definitely hurt your economy. especially when you're trying to expand and like build all that stuff. You have to start trading a lot sooner. You won't be able to pump out mills as quickly, especially before you run war economy. So I think that's definitely a benefit to going heavy tanks with Russia. Like you can see in the resource differential. And then also the tungsten too that you would have available. Like a lot of it's going to be coming from like this area down here in like India. And like depending on how those things flip out, like I mean India can join the Copro sphere, and so can these guys, and you can wind up at war with them over Transmore. So that might interrupt your tungsten availability a little bit, particularly if you're also planning on going to war with the Internationale too. And they've got the Iberian tungsten, which if they do win, that's a possibility for them to have that. It's like that could be like a little bit of a pinch, especially if you have to trade overseas for tungsten. You don't really want to be, you don't want to subject yourself to that. You have to spend a lot of time on escorts. Yeah, so I think that's right? Yeah, 40. We would need, or you could I guess lower your economy law and then sacrifice more production to try and get access to more of the tungsten you do have. Yeah, but that's that. It's like that's a strategy. That's why I think heavy tanks are good. And I'll post a build order, and you guys can like give it a go in your games if you want, and see if you like that. Like I don't think we really had too many problems over here. We were smart with how we managed the front line. The heavy tanks you saw, they just smashed right through the AI divisions. No problem at all. But that's that. I mean, this is gonna be like a little bit of a short video. Unfortunately, the time limit on the recordings I can make just reached right at the end of that peace conference, I think. So I think it got cut off and I was saying it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this series, and I hope you guys give it a go here and try playing with some heavy tank Russia. It's a good time. Levy Freeman signing out.